Okay, welcome everybody to another episode of the Outdoor Home Stay-at-Home Live Cooking Demonstration. And tonight we are actually coming to you 100% live. It is straight up 7:01 on Thursday night. So anything could happen tonight because there's no editing, there's no piecing together. This is a really fast recipe. So we thought we could just do this in one segment rather than have to make everybody wait for a finished result. This one goes pretty fast. And tonight we're doing dessert. We've actually already had dinner. This one is a really good one to do on a night that you've already cooked dinner and you have a hot grill, whether it's a big green egg or whatever you're cooking on. You keep the grill hot while you eat dinner, and then you come back to it and actually do your dessert, which takes a matter of minutes. And this one is like 15 years old. With running out of recipe options, started to really have to dig deep in the bag and came up with this one that we used to do. This was a kid favorite when our kids were young. And I'll tell a little story about what I found when I actually had to look up because I didn't have the recipe anymore, and how I found it. It was kind of fun. So we'll go ahead and get started. What I've got so far, this is grilled, did I already say? This is grilled bananas and ice cream. Pretty simple recipe, but just so good. Fruit is just something that's amazing when you grill it. There's mostly water in fruit, so when you grill it, it brings out all the sugars in it, caramelizes it, and intensifies the flavor. So what I've done so far, when the grill is hot, I've got some pecans here that we're going to put on at the end, and I just toasted those. Took about 10 minutes. If you were here, you could smell them. I love pecans, so just did a little bit of those. It's just going to be 2 of us doing this tonight. I've got my big green egg cruising at 450 degrees. So what we'll do to get started here is we're going to make the sauce. We're going to get the sauce going, which is the key. What I think definitely helps make this dish. So in the sauce, neighbor's dog is not happy with what I'm doing tonight, apparently. Half a stick of butter. And we could have had this preheating, but the grill's pretty hot. It's not gonna take that long. So we'll let the butter start melting there. And while that's happening, in the meantime, we'll get our bananas ready. So on the bananas, you want to go to the green side if you can. I don't like them when they're just solid green, and that was kind of my choice. But you don't want one that's fully ripe, ready to eat, because they're just too soft.
Sean Hilton says hello, Kenny.
Hello, Sean. Great to actually be able to hear from everybody. If anybody has any questions tonight, as long as they are grilling related, maybe no questions about mass or anything like that, but if any questions about anything tonight, feel free to bring them up. So what I'm going to do now is just take the bananas and slice them long ways without slicing my finger. Like so. And this is why you want to get the firm bananas, because if you don't, they can kind of fall apart on you. And we did have some recipe ideas that were mentioned last week. Kim, I think, mentioned a recipe idea. I looked that one up on the Big and Ranch. I'm looking forward to doing that, so that will make the rotation. That one looked, that was going to be a challenge, and I'm up for the challenge, so I will definitely do the Euro recipe suggestion that was there. And then the cookbook, somebody mentioned the cookbook. That's going to happen. We will make that happen. I've got to start going back and watching some of the videos and actually putting it in, and I'm going to make myself do that in the next week or two. So promise that is coming. All right, our butter is starting to melt here. So what I'm going to do now, I've got my bananas cut. If pretend we're doing a pork shoulder or ribs or something, I'm going to put the dry rub on the banana. So this is turbinado sugar and cinnamon. And I just want to coat just the I guess I would call it the meat side, the open side of the bananas here. So this has cinnamon and turbinado sugar. You can use brown sugar as well. Turbinado sugar is a little bit different. It has the, they leave the molasses in it when it's processed, so it gives kind of a caramel flavor, which I think will lend pretty well on this. And we're going, this is dessert. We're putting this on ice cream, so I'm not going to be shy when it comes to this. Most of my cinnamon's at the bottom here.
Bob from Pennsylvania says hi.
Hi, Bob. Hello in Pennsylvania. What time is it there, Bob? I'm guessing he's an hour, maybe 8 o'clock. Okay, so just like we were doing ribs or something, we'll let that kind of go there while we're going to make our sauce. Butter's starting to melt nicely. So this recipe originally called for either rum or brandy. when I made it in the past years ago, I actually would use rum. I don't have any rum, but what we're going to do tonight, I'm looking forward to trying this. I have some, we've done this in different ingredients, from desserts to breakfast. The Knob Creek smoked maple bourbon. So we're going to do that instead of the rum tonight. And I think that maple with the sugar and the bananas, I think this is, who knows, we'll see if it's better than the rum recipe. Not sure that I can remember from probably 10, 15 years ago since the last time that we actually did this. All right, we're almost there on our butter. You can see, I'm gonna move out of the way, you can see grill's still hot from. So a lot of times, years ago, I would do this recipe. It would be after we had steaks or, you know, chicken breasts or something that you're grilling direct at kind of a, you know, high temp in that 400 to 500 degree range. All right, our butter is melted. Because then you just keep the grill hot. You go inside and eat, or you eat outside, and then when you're ready to go, good to go. So now we're going to add some turbinado sugar to this. You could use brown sugar as well on this portion. Doing roughly 4 tablespoons.
Bob said they had fried chicken for dinner and he could use some dessert on his big green egg now.
Excellent. Bob, if you have bananas and ice cream in the inside, you're probably, and you've got some bourbon or rum in the cabinet, you're almost there. All right, speaking of bourbon, we'll go ahead and put our, going to do a full shot. I would say years ago when, you know, the kids were young, when I would make this recipe and we'd put rum in it, I would venture to say very little went in the recipe, and then when the kids were dead, maybe we sipped on the rum. I don't know. So I put a full shot in there. It's just Sean and I tonight, so we'll be fine. Just gonna try and dissolve that sugar. This is a cool little sauce pot that Big Green Egg makes. It has a little spot there that when you take it out, you can actually rest this kind of rests right on there. So I got my basting brush. All right, we're starting to cook pretty quick there. We're gonna go ahead and add about a teaspoon of vanilla. Just gives it a little bit more of a depth. That might have been a tad more than a teaspoon.
Ginger says her mouth is watering, but not keto friendly.
No, it's not keto friendly. I was reading where some people think turbinado sugar is just a tad better than brown sugar. If you want to pull that card, it has like 1% of your iron and calcium needs. So there's that. You can use that as an excuse. And I'm going to need a glove to take that off in a second. So we're starting to boil. We don't want to scorch it, but we want to just thicken it up a little bit. It's going to cook onto the bananas as well. Yeah, now we're thickening up pretty nice. What you can do with the egg too, and you get kind of a hot spot like that, I can move it back here to get it directly out of the flames. That'll slow that process down just a little bit.
Smells good.
It does. Some heat there. This is arm's not heat. I just want that to thicken and incorporate just a little bit. My bananas are ready to go. We've definitely got a hot fire. This is gonna cook fast once we get started. Oh, you can smell that big time now. Wow. been a long time. So I'll tell you my funny little story that I thought was kind of cool. I couldn't find the recipe. Some recipes I print out, some recipes I forget to print out, some I probably printed out and lost. So I was trying to find this recipe and searched. I think I Googled big green egg, grilled bananas and ice cream. And one of the first posts that came up was this post that's about 3 pages long from this conversation going back and forth between several individuals on the Egghead forum, where some guy named Hackerfan, which would be me, asked, help please, I've got kids that were basically looking at me, bananas and ice cream, but I lost the recipe, somebody help, can anybody share the recipe that's been posted here before? And then everybody started sharing exactly what to do. So I saved the day that night and didn't have to disappoint. The cool thing is that is July of 2004 from that recipe. That is actually 3 months. July, the birth date on this one for this household was April 2004. So that would have been 3 months in. Thought that was pretty cool when you Google and find your own conversation from 15 years ago. Back the kids would have been, you know, looking up, just starving to death. But now they're old enough to buy that if they wanted to, and no longer living at home. Okay, this is thickened up pretty nice, so I'm just going to get this out of the way. And baste, I almost grabbed that handle. Need my left-handed glove. Okay. Mosquito bites in there. Put the first coat. It's almost smelling like pancakes right now. Okay, we get a nice coat going there. That rest. Okay, then what we're going to do is put the bananas on face down first. You will get a flare up from the bourbon and the butter and everything in there first. Good news on the egg, as soon as we do that, you'll see a little wisp here and it'll go to smoke so we don't have a disaster. Hopefully we don't have a disaster already, but that took off. Does not take long on fruit. We're basically just wanting to caramelize the sugars in the fruit. Depends on the fruit. Bananas are not going to take long at all.
The bourbon was added to the sauce, so yes, it has already been added.
Yep, bourbon is in the sauce, and then the sauce is used as a glaze on the bananas. Standing in front of the camera. I love it.
So how long are we going to leave those going?
It's been 15 years or so, but I think it's like 5 minutes. Bananas do not take long. I just want to get that caramelization on that side. The other option, you can also go back and forth. So if I decide I didn't get enough on there, I can always turn it back over.
Hi, Robin.
The egg is going to.
Sorry, I said hi, Robin.
Oh, hi, Robin. Hope everybody's enjoying. It's a beautiful night tonight. A little warm, but rather be outside. Just because we're encouraged to stay at home doesn't mean we need to stay inside. We'll keep doing this every Thursday night as long as everybody's watching. Tell us what you want to see us do next. Okay, we're going to flip these over and see what we got. We are using cast iron grates tonight, which I really like to get that char and it just nice, even cook. And it just happens to be what we were using on what we had for dinner as well. So, all right, now that I've got that exposed.
Pan is hot.
Pan is hot. If you're wondering if I burn myself, it's pretty obvious, yes. Quite often. burn myself. I cry from smoke in my eyes. It's all worth it.
You can see it popping out of the skin already.
Yep. So that's what we're shooting for. I'm going to let that flame go out and get my sight back for a second. A little teary-eyed when I make this recipe, I guess. So the goal is you'll know when the bananas are done. As Shauna mentioned there, even though it's been 15 years and she remembers this, the skin will start to lay down to where the banana just wants to come out. And that's pretty much all we need. Which is why you want to go open side down first, get that char on there, and then just cook the back side like a lobster tail maybe.
Your mom wants to know what was for dinner.
It was a meatball recipe with grilled meatballs. It was a meal kit, one of the meal kits that we adapted. What was it, Asian meatballs? I don't remember what it was. I didn't have a whole lot to do with it. It was delicious. Yeah, you can see here, that one's done. It's starting to come out. Can you see on the...
Oh, sorry.
See the skin there? That one, where it's just, you're actually starting to boil inside there. I'm going to baste it one more time. Almost grabbed it again.
Robin says she'll be over in about 3.5 hours. Pretty sure this household will be asleep by then.
Yeah. Especially after this, we'll have a little...
Maybe we can leave it on the front porch. Sean Hilton says it smells fantastic.
I would agree. Thank you, Sean. We are getting close now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull these off so they can cool down for a second. So there's the finished product. You can see it's pretty much out of that. It's going to be easy to get that out of the... They won't, actually they get a little softer if anything. I think some people think it'll get firm. Pineapple has a tendency to do that when you grill it. I think I started mentioning earlier, you can grill any fruit. I think it all tastes good. If you do thicker fruits, like if you're going to do apples, you'd want to go lower temperature and maybe a little bit higher up in the grill. With bananas, you can do it hot and fast because there's not much there. Same thing with peaches. If you're doing sliced peaches, that'll go quick for you. As well as pineapple doesn't take long at all to do pineapple rounds. Okay, I'm gonna let that cool for just a second so it doesn't burn me. I'm gonna run inside and grab the ice cream. We'll be right back. Sticky. We've got vanilla ice cream, old-fashioned vanilla. 1 second, our golden retriever wants to join the party now.
I have a question. Came in late. What temperature?
450. It doesn't have to be exact. I'd say anywhere 400 to 450 degrees. We cooked dinner first, so we had a hot grill anyway. If you go a lower temperature, it's just going to take longer, but with bananas, you can do it pretty quick. And I will just take the peels, just turn them upside down. I always call it meat. I don't know what else to call it, but
fruit.
Yeah, the fruit part of the banana. I always cook meat, so I guess everything has to relate to that. I know my friend like Sean that's watching probably does the same thing. I see his cooks. Basically, I got that all lined out there, and now I'm just going to kind of make it really softens up. So just want to get something that we can spoon over the ice cream and then incorporate in it. These are hot even through the glove. I think one of the recipes I saw actually calls for like dicing this real almost into a liquid and throwing it back in a sauce or something. That's why I use the glove there. Okay, so now stir this up. This and the cutting board's kind of handy here. You get some of that sauce off the board. Just two of us, we're going to get a bunch tonight. Should I build the other one too? Might as well. And yes, I'm nervous if that's right on the edge, but if you've never had grilled bananas, you need to try it. Fruit in general, when you grill it, it just really intensifies the flavor. Some of the fruits that aren't my favorites, when you grill them, really does change it. I think I got this pretty even there. See, 3 bananas will get you quite a bit. So then we had our pecans, and we started out toasting these for 10 minutes. We're gonna put this over the top. And as I think I mention every time, you probably get tired of hearing it. Store, of course, is open, and we're taking all the precautions to keep everybody safe. Yep. And that's still hot. Cast iron will retain the... Now the good part is we get to drizzle this liquid gold. Just the smell of that. I'm actually really excited about trying this with that smoked maple. We've incorporated that in recipes before. Maybe even one that we'll do a video on. Put all that over the top of the ice cream. Nice thing about the gloves, you just remove them and your hands are clean.
If only the cooking space were that easy.
Yes. Alright, I brought 2 spoons out here. For both of us, we'll move over to the clean spot, which is not on that edge. Who's going first tonight, dear?
Go for it.
Alright, so then you just, of course, get the ice cream, a pecan, bite of banana, everything all there in once. Grilled bananas and ice cream. Smoked maple bourbon in the sauce. Oh my.
Better than you remember?
It takes me back, yeah. Seems weird not to have little kids running around. Maybe we should have invited our big kids over for this. So it takes them back. So we'll let our beautiful camera operator, otherwise known as Shonda. I never get this right.
You're fine. I was trying to read. Bob returned a comment. He said the bourbon's already out, and he's firing up his large egg back up for dessert. Thanks for the demo and recipe.
That's awesome. Cheers.
Okay, I'm ready.
Here goes. Up onto the deck. I'll go get that one. Grilled bananas and ice cream.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that good?
Step aside, Andy's.
Either I don't remember it being this good, or it's better with the bourbon, or maybe my taste has changed, but that's tasty.
The toasted pecans definitely top it off. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks for everybody that joined tonight and had all the questions. We'll continue to answer the questions after the fact. And let us know if you've got recipe ideas. We're paying attention to that. The Euros are on the list, Kim. The cookbook is coming, and if anybody else has any ideas, throw them out there, and one of us will definitely do a video. So we'll see you again next week.